Hi, today I'll be sharing my go-to simple makeup routine. This look is perfect for those days when you want to feel put together without spending a ton of time or using a million products. I will be demonstrating everything on, as you can see, my acne-prone skin, and this is how it's going to look like. I have used only 8 products to create this fresh and minimal but super pretty look that you can do in under 10 minutes. As a primer, I always use an SPF. Today it's the Zara Her Wonder 1, and the first step in my makeup routine is covering all the spots and blemishes on my skin along with the darkness around my eyes with the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Concealer in 002 Neutral. I'm targeting all of the discoloration on my face to cover it up and even out my skin tone. Also, using only concealer instead of foundation will give you a softer, more natural look. Then I'm using a small kabuki brush or a small flat top brush and using a stippling motion to tap in the concealer, but only on the spots that I really need to cover. And if I have any leftover product on the brush, I am just dragging it over to the rest of my skin. Using stippling motion with your brush will also help you to not exaggerate any dry patches that you might have on your skin. And also don't forget to apply the concealer to your other eye as well, because today I actually forgot and I don't know how that happened. When I finish with blending in the concealer that is on my face, then I move to the eyes, and around the eyes I tend to use my fingers because I have seen that when I use a brush, my eye area gets more wrinkly, and even though it takes a bit longer to blend it with your fingers, I feel like the finish and also the longevity of the concealer around the eyes is much better. The main areas that I focus on are the inner corner because there is where I have the most discoloration. As you could have seen, I had like a very dark spot here and the concealer completely covers it. Then I'm moving on to contour and I'm using this e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour in Fair, and I'm dabbing it on the high points of my cheeks and also around my forehead, as I have quite large forehead, and using this contour wand will help me to give an effect of having a smaller forehead. I'm also dabbing it in the inner corners of my eyes or under the eyebrows and on the outside of my eyes to bring more depth both to my nose and to the outer eye area. I always blend the contour upwards, so I never drag it down or to the center of my face. I'm going always from the center to the outside of my face. As you can see, I'm doing this also for the forehead. And when it comes to forehead, don't forget to get rid of those small hairs because I have quite a few of them. And if you haven't seen my video about how I grew more hair in the last year, I am going to link it up in the upper right corner for you. I'm always blending my contour with this slightly fluffier brush because I feel like it disperses the color more evenly, and when I am going to my nose I always switch to the other side of this brush that I'm using, so it is way smaller and more precise, so I don't have like a weird blotchy nose, as I still want this to look very natural. Also, any leftover product that I have on my brush I always apply to the tip of my nose to make it more button-like. Moving on to blush, I am using the Body Shop Freestyle Multitasking Color in Fair, and I am only using a small dab on my finger, as you can see here, and I am evenly dispersing it to both of my cheeks, so I am not using 2 dips of my fingers, just one, as this is quite a pigmented blush and I don't want to be like sunburned looking, and I want this to be still very natural and pretty. Also, I'm using just my fingers to blend this out, but if you feel like you work better with a brush or a sponge, then feel free to use that. And once I'm done blending on my cheeks, I always take the residue on my finger to my nose bridge, and then I also apply the same product to my eyes, but as you can see I'm only using a little bit, so I bring just a little bit of color to my eyelids without using any powder eyeshadow. Then I am moving on to powdering my face, and I am using this Gosh waterproof setting powder, and I apply it to the center of my face and mostly on the T-zone. That is where I apply the most of my powder, and anything that is left on the brush, I take it to the perimeter of my face. That is also a good practice for if you want to get a really good blend of powder products on top of your cream products. Also, if your skin is more on the dry side, feel free to skip the powder step. But as I am very oily, mostly on the T-zone, I have to apply powder, otherwise I would look like an oil slick very quickly. Then moving on to brows, I'm using this NYX Precision Brow Pencil in soft brown, and I am filling in my eyebrows in a hair-like motion, so I'm just doing little strokes in my eyebrows and trying to get them a little bit more fluffy and more defined. And as my eyebrows are quite downturned, I shave off the outer part, and as you can see, I'm drawing it in a more of a straight line. Once I'm happy with the brow shape, I take the spoolie from the other end of the brow pencil and I brush through my hair to soften the lines a little bit to give a more natural look. And as I want my eyebrows to stay in place, I am using this NYX eyebrow glue in medium brown, and firstly I'm just brushing it to the center of my face and then I'm brushing it outwards so the gel coats my eyebrow hairs and really puts them into place so they don't move throughout the day. For my eyeliner, I'm using this NYX Epic Ink Liner in Milk Chocolate, and to do my wing, I always start in the outer part of my eye. And as I have hooded eyes, I always elongate the eye a little bit by drawing a straight line from the outer corner. And once I am past the point of the crease of my eye, I make a small wing, and then when I'm happy with the length of the wing, I connect it to the rest of my eyeliner. A tip for you if you have also hooded eyes, as I have, always look straight into the mirror, so don't try to lift your eyebrow or look downwards, as then your eyeliner can look a bit crooked. And as I am making this look very minimal, I'm not using any pencil liner and I'm not tight lining, but if you want to make your eyes pop, take the liquid liner and only line the inner portion of the eye, so like the inner third, because as you can see, I lined the outer third and now the inner third of my eyes don't make my lid space even smaller. And as I want my makeup to look very natural, I am using a brown mascara. This one is from Essence and it stays very well on my oily lids, so if you are looking for a very cheap mascara that does its job very well, then I definitely recommend you buy this one. I think it is around $4, so it is really cheap. I always apply 2 layers to my upper lashes, and then what's left on the mascara wand I take to the outer part of the lower lashes first, and then only color the inner portion so I have the least product on the inner part of my lower lashes. Then I'm taking the blush and applying it to my lips as the final step in this makeup. And that's the finished look. It took less than 8 minutes and only 8 products to achieve this one. Let me know in the comments below what your go-to makeup products are, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more easy tutorials like this one. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!